So people talk about transformation like it's beautiful. It's not. It's painful. It's lonely. It's a full reboot of who you thought you were. But your soul knows when it's time to grow, even if your life isn't ready for it. Sometimes everything has to break so you can finally rise. No one prepares you for the day you outgrow your own life, your habits, your relationship, your old self. But what comes after that moment? That's where your real story begins. I feel like this next chapter of my channel needs two sides. The honest, vulnerable conversations about what I'm actually facing, and the practical videos that help me build momentum through my small daily habits. One speaks to the soul, the other speaks to daily action. And today, I want to speak about the soul because I'm in a release right now, a shedding, a letting go of people who still see the older version of me, the version I've outgrown. You can't rise when someone is anchoring you to the past. And at some point, you have to take back your power, to take ownership of your avatar and step into the version of yourself you know that you're meant to become. If someone can't see your potential, they're blocking it. And that's when the release begins. There was a point in my marriage where I realised something painful and important. My wife had a balance cup, calm, steady, grounded, while mine was always 99% full. Not full of joy, but full of unresolved things I'd been carrying for years, like addictions, pressure, stress, old patterns, noise I didn't know how to quiet. I tried to change, I really did. I stepped back to work on myself, to empty out the chaos inside me. But while I was lowering my cup from 99% down to something towards something healthy, she was slowly removing me from hers. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-protection. Her heart had been carrying too much for too long. By the time I reached what felt like progress, what felt like 50%, she couldn't see it anymore. She could only see the old version of me, the one I was trying so hard to outgrow. I held on to the vision of us, but in her world that chapter had already closed. And when it finally ended, I realised something I didn't want to face. My cup wasn't half full, it was actually empty, completely empty. I removed everything, the addictions, the noise, the patterns, and what was left was just me. And the truth of how lonely an empty cup feels when you've never been empty before. But emptiness isn't a punishment, it's a reset. It's the moment the old version of you dies so a new one can be born. People look at you and think you're the same, but inside, everything has changed. I'm in my 90-day reset now, rebuilding myself from the inside out, not to chase anyone, not to fix the past, but because I refuse to live as the man whose cup was always overflowing with chaos. I'm learning balance, I'm learning steadiness, I'm learning how to carry my own weight so I don't hand it to anyone else again. When we first got together, she once said she felt she was here to help heal me, and without meaning to, she did. She showed me exactly where I was unbalanced. She mirrored the parts of myself I'd been avoiding. I'm not angry, I'm actually grateful. If there's a lesson in this, it's simple. Don't let your cup overflow onto your partners. Learn balance, learn clarity, learn responsibility. Because imbalance will always push love away, even when the love is real. Sometimes the universe removes people because we refuse to remove the old version of ourselves. And trust me, if you don't let go of the identity that's dying, the universe is going to tear it away from you anyway. Emptiness is a doorway to transformation. It's how you begin again. Think of a bow and arrow. The bow pulling back is all the struggle, all the waiting, all the pain you've been carrying. Those years where you felt lost, they weren't wasted. They were building tension, building power. That tension is sacred. The more it pulls back, the more force your arrow has when you finally let it go. And the arrow is your destiny. The longer you spend discovering your calling, your passion, your identity, the more energy you charge into that arrow. then there comes a moment where you finally say, enough. I'm done living someone else's life. You take your first real step towards your own. You look back at everything, the lessons, the mistakes, the things you loved, the things you hated, and you finally see what no longer fits. You realise who you don't want to be anymore, and for the first time, you see who you could become. And that's when the phoenix starts to rise. That fire inside you, the fire you didn't even know you were building, finally begins to take shape. Every moment you felt stuck, more tension. Every job that drained you, more tension. Every time someone you love noticed your soul fading, more tension. Your soul was storing all of it, building the force you'll need when the moment of a release finally comes. And when it releases, it doesn't explode all at once. It starts slow, you stabilise, you find your aim, then momentum kicks in, and suddenly you're moving with speed and clarity. The person you were 5 years ago, you won't recognise them, because release only happens when you reclaim your passion, when you find your purpose, when you stop listening to people who don't believe in you. Sometimes it feels like your life is falling apart, but it's actually fallen into place. You'll cycle through doubt and progress again and again. Each cycle prepares you. Each fall gathers more fuel for the fire. Age doesn't matter. Time doesn't matter. Your soul only cares that you eventually wake up. And when you do, everything changes. You start recognizing awakened souls. They recognize you. You attract people who feel familiar, even if you've never met them, because they're on the same path. Children show us who we were before the world got to us, before systems and expectations shaped us, before we forgot our essence. But things are changing. This is the generation that breaks that pattern. It's time for people who can see to step forward, people whose phoenix is rising, people who feel their mission calling, people who know our children deserve more than the world we inherited. If you had unlimited money, would you really waste your life on yachts, cars, and people who only like you for what you can give them? Ego loves that. Ego thrives on that, but your soul hates it. Your soul wants meaning, wants purpose, something real, something that doesn't vanish when the noise stops. Money alone changes nothing. Just look at the world. Billionaires haven't ended starvation, or war, or corruption, or the destruction of the planet. Ego alone has never changed the world, but a collective of awakened soul-led people. People who've been cracked open. People who've risen from their own ashes and decided to build something better. That's what changes the world every single time. So before I finish, there's one last thing I want to speak on, because rising isn't just about purpose, it's also about the people who cracked us open along the way. There was someone in my life who did that for me, and I'm not saying this to get anything back or reopen anything, but to honour what that connection taught me. There's something I want to say calmly, clearly, and with no expectation attached to it. This isn't a message to win you back or change anything. It's just the truth I've come to understand now that everything has settled. When I think about what we had, it wasn't light, it wasn't simple, it wasn't surface level. It was one of the most deepest connections I've ever experienced, deeper than anything ever before. You reached a part of me nobody else had ever touched, and that's not something I say lightly. We didn't come into each other's lives by accident. We met at a time when both of us were carrying things we didn't know yet how to deal with, and somehow, in that short time, we triggered things in each other that changed us forever. You brought a softness into my life, a steadiness, a grounded calm, a way of being I hadn't learned how to reach yet. Even when I didn't match it, it still left a mark on me. It still taught me something. And I can see now that I had an effect on you too, even if it wasn't easy. Without meaning to, I forced you to choose yourself, to protect your energy, to stop carrying other people's weight, to put boundaries where you'd never put them before. It wasn't gentle, and I'm not proud of that part, but I can see that it made you stronger in a way neither of us expected. The truth is, we were never meant to stay as we were. What we had wasn't designed to be calm or long-lasting in that form. It was designed to crack us both open. Sometimes the deepest love isn't the one that stays. Sometimes it's the one that shakes everything loose, so you finally see who you are and who you're supposed to become. And that's what we were for each other. Not a mistake, not a failure, a turning point. We reached a place where you needed peace, steadiness and safety. Things I hadn't grown into yet, and I needed someone who could sit with me while I figured myself out. But that wasn't your path. Your heart isn't built for chaos. It's built for gentleness, for stability, for a calm life. So you chose yourself, and I chose to grow. And because of that, even though it hurt, I don't see our ending as something broken. I see it as something complete. So if you hear this in a year or 5 years or 10 years from now, I want you to hear it with no tension or weight. Thank you. You were the deepest love I've ever felt. You pushed me into becoming a better man, not because you asked me to, but because losing you forced me to face myself. You changed me in ways you'll never fully know, in ways I needed, in ways that shaped my future. You didn't walk away from me. You walked toward the life that felt right for you. And by doing that, you unknowingly pushed me toward the man I had the potential to be. We weren't meant to be forever. We were meant to wake each other up. And I will always honour that. I will always honour you. Not with sadness, but with gratitude. Because you were the moment my life changed direction. And I'll never pretend otherwise. So let the past fall away. Your rise is already beginning.